G'day everyone, Steve here from the Mentored Mind Project. Well, I guess we can officially call this video one. And as I said yesterday, I want to talk about conditioning and what that means. And what I'm going to do is break it down into a couple of shorter videos so you're not required to focus too heavily on what's being said and try to process too much at once. Now, please bear in mind that a lot of what I talk about is not necessarily in dictionary terms. So what I consider to be conditioning may not be what the English dictionary reflects. So again, these are my experiences and my understanding. So conditioning, what is it? Well, to me, conditioning is something that is built over time. So things are built over time through conditioning. Now, conditioning is simply repetition. It's forming habits, and quite often they're done subconsciously without us even realizing. That's why, as I said in a previous video, we can't just flip things on their head overnight, because they didn't just happen overnight. They took time to happen. And subconsciously, which is where we spend 95% of our day, our lives, is in subconscious state of thought, and that's where it's basically autopilot. So things just happen because they're in our hard drive, and our hard drive, of course, is our mind, or even our brain. Everything's stored there, and a lot of the information that's stored there has been built up over time, as I say. Some of it no longer holds any value, and some of it may never have held any value, but for whatever reason it's there. And usually the reason some things are stored in our hard drive and we don't understand why is because they're accumulated via other people. And what I mean by that is that, particularly when we're very young and don't have a huge capacity to intellectually understand conscious thought, a lot of things are picked up, they form habits, and ultimately they become our habits, if you like, our conditioning. So a perfect example is, when you're very, very young, the people you spend the most time with, you tend to pick up on their habits, their opinions, their beliefs. So parents, siblings, family, friends, relatives, and even school teachers to a degree. So quite often we find ourselves wondering why we believe a certain thing, why we have an opinion that's maybe doesn't quite sit right with us. And it's quite often, not always, but quite often it's because we have picked up those thought patterns, those opinions, those beliefs from other people. So we spend 95% of our day, and therefore 95% of our lives, in subconscious state. And what that means is we're picking up a lot of information, it's going into that hard drive, but ultimately once it's there, we tend to just rely on it. We go back to it whether we need it or not. It's very much like autopilot. And I want to give you an example of that, so you understand the difference between the subconscious mind, where we spend 95% of our day, versus the conscious state of mind, where we spend about 5%. You're driving to the same location every day for 10 years to go to work. You're driving the same road, nothing's changed. You jump in the car in the morning, the music gets cranked up, you're having something to eat, you're drinking a coffee, you're doing all those things, and before you know it, you're at work. Whoa, here I am. And you don't even think, oh, I'm here. It's just, you're just there, and it just doesn't seem strange at all. But let me throw this one out there. They want you to go to a different location tomorrow because you've got a training day or something. You've never been there before. Now you're going to have to be in that conscious state, that 5%. So the music's down low, if on at all. There's no eating, there's no drinking, it's complete focus. You've got Google Maps turned on, and you cannot be distracted because your mind is saying, I need to go somewhere I've never been before. So autopilot's useless. You have to take control here. So I hope that's a reasonable explanation of the difference between your subconscious state of mind and your conscious state of mind. So again, subconscious is just autopilot. It's all the stuff that's stored in your mind, in your brain, and quite often it just comes to the forefront, whether you need it or not. And that's quite often why you have a lot of negative thoughts around things that really aren't negative when you break them down into that conscious state of mind. So that's an example of subconscious mind versus conscious mind, and conditioning is simply repetition. Repetition is the mother of all skill, said Anthony Robbins. And it's true. When you go to the gym, and we shorten the word repetition with reps. You go in there, you do X amount of reps, and over time you condition your muscles to grow bigger. Well, it's very much the same with your mind. Constant repetition forms habit, and it can become a lot easier. But unfortunately, if those thoughts and beliefs and opinions aren't of value, then they can work against you. So it's very important to understand that we can change what's in our hard drive. We can change conditioning, but again, it takes time. As I said in a previous video, you don't go to the gym once and come out looking ripped and massive. You don't eat one green apple and lose 20 kilos. So everything we've done to this point, everything we think is part of our conditioning throughout our lives. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to take a lifetime to change it, but it will take a little bit of commitment and going through a process of identifying when you're having subconscious thoughts that don't serve you anymore, and then understanding how to change it. And I'll talk about that in the next video. In the meantime, have a great day, and we'll be back shortly.